If you prefer to just drink instead while watching the show, you don't want to participate, you're one of those people, that's totally fine too. You don't have to be a contributor. You can just be a consumer, and you go to AllisonWinePromo.com, support the show there too. Get some Extremist altitude wines. You're still in your grandma's basement. You haven't even brushed your hair or your teeth today, but you still want to be an extremist and not do anything. Go get some Extremist altitude wine. You won't end up in prison yet. I don't know for the future, but for now, it's safe. 50% off my favorite Malbecs from Argentina and 50% off shipping. It's a great deal, and it's great wine. It's a great way to support my works. And I have a P.O. box now, so you can send me some mail, send me your pocket lint, send me a winning lottery ticket, send me some spare change. Don't send me a note that says you're going to kill me. Don't send me anything edible. I'm not going to eat it because I'm going to assume you're trying to murder me. P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida, 34432. And thanks to everybody who sends mail. I love reading the notes, love seeing your photos of your family. It's really great to get actual mail in today's world. Let's go back over to locals. The current nonsense reason for discouraging homegrown gardens falls right in line with the anti-humanist push to control every aspect of people's lives, control of food, control of people. If anyone, especially the government, asks you about your private endeavors, lie. Didn't you do a show which mentioned registering your home garden with the FDA? Yeah, it was the USDA. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Steve? I think, like we talked about this with USDA, it often, I think, is pushed by people who think they're doing a good job. Like, I think the people who wrote this article in Nature, which is what the Telegraph was citing, they're basically saying, hey, we know people talk about this a lot. What's the carbon footprint of urban versus conventional agriculture? And that's also kind of a weird way to dichotomize it too, right? Urban versus conventional agriculture. But anyway, they're like, we're just trying to look into it so we can tell you what's really going on. And because they really believe there's a significant problem. People are trying to understand the problem, so they think they're offering a great service here. I doubt any of these people would be like, yes, I'm in an effort to. At least they wouldn't admit it to themselves. Maybe they're narcissists deep down, and I don't know. I just have a feeling that a lot of these people think they're doing a public service. Not to say that it's good, but I don't think they're. I think they would say that they know what's better for people, and they're trying to tell you what's better for you. I don't know what do you think? Do you think they want to control people's lives? They know that, I guess.
I mean, that's kind of an understood thing to a degree. Yeah, because you don't study large scale systems like this that have a direct result in control of people's lives. If it's not at least, running around in there somewhere, that what you're doing is in effect very controlling. So I disparage academia as an institution a lot. So some of what I'm about to say may sound harsh. Okay. That's not to say that there aren't people who don't go into these positions with good intentions, but we're talking about people who have elected to take part in a study that represents the technocracy. That this is an institution for the technocratic, I guess, narrative, really, and policy to be implemented in, and for people who want to go on in a career where everybody knows that if you want to do anything, it comes down to what government and public-private partnership funding you're going to be able to secure, then you are always, always, always going to skew your errors on the side of the people that are going to butter your bread. We've seen for how many weeks now, you guys, with Harvard and all of that other nonsense, where as soon as they scratch the surface, it turns out everybody's a cheat, everybody's lying for everybody, everybody's covering for everybody, and there's this system of reward based on falling up and being corrupt. So that's not to say that the inquiry itself or the nature of the inquiry is corrupt, but the way that the institutions have formulated themselves over the years, and the way that the pipeline to success has been created, has kind of weeded out people, at least at these institutions, that are going to be legitimately curious into finding out the factual answers to the problems. If that makes any
Okay.
sense, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. No, yeah. A lot of people think when I say journalists, for instance, in the media are moral busybodies versus, I guess, intentional crooks. The reason I say that I think they're more moral busybodies is because I don't think they even realize in a lot of ways the system that they're participating in, how they're used as pawns constantly, and they sleep pretty well at night. I know I did, thinking that I was doing a good job. I mean, it wasn't until I woke up and really understood what journalism was, then I was like, "Well, I can't do that here." So that's why I left. But for 10 good years, maybe a little less, but around that, I did what I thought was journalism, but it was a shadow of what now I realize I needed to be doing, the questions I needed to be asking. So I I don't mean that to say that it's better, because a lot of people are like, "Why, when are you going to stop defending the news business?" I'm like, I'm not defending the news business to say everybody's a stormtrooper. In a lot of ways, it would seem to be easier to fix things if you had more Darth Vaders, but you have a bunch of ignorant stormtroopers, and it's harder to turn that ship around. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's worse, honestly, in a lot of ways, to have people who have convinced themselves they're doing a great job. And even more so, not just doing a great job, but they take the public disdain as a reverse endorsement. Just like if I give my kid broccoli and they're like, I would rather have sugar, like, see, I knew this was the right thing for you tonight. You needed broccoli. And a lot of journalists feel that way, that they're just doing the public good. And if you don't like it, it's just because you're used to lies on social media or something, and it just proves to them they need to push even harder now. They don't see it as something that should be heated, like a warning that should be heated about their practices. DMC says, did you notice they are not speaking of the healthfulness of homegrown food for the eater versus their big money advertising conventional food sellers? And to that point, critical thought over here, conventional is not conventional, it's industrial. So they don't say that. They don't call it industrial agriculture, they call it conventional. Normalizing the practice. And yeah, again, like no discussion of health, and really not even in discussion of what it means to be good for the environment other than carbon. So if we took that out of the equation, I don't think we'd have a video here live stream, because we wouldn't have an article.
Yeah, no, but it's an emerging market. It's tied into the natural asset commodities push. I know that there's been a number of people, including my friend Courtney Turner, who have been, most recently sounding the alarm about that. There have been people who have been screaming about it for close to a decade now, because again, all of the same goons have been telling us for the better part of a decade that they want to completely commodify nature. And so when you remove the magic from it, in this case, we're going to capture carbon and we're going to recognize carbon as not only a commodity, but also the deadliest threat to human existence that we've ever faced before in our entire lives, except maybe Hamas. Maybe. Uh, do you see how nonsense this is? But if we eliminate that, they do. They have no story, but it's part and parcel of all of the item agendas they have for the 30 by 30 agenda through the United Nations. It's part of all of the 2050 goals. So all of the things that remove us from nature, remove us from each other, remove us from our body's natural abilities to heal itself. Because without the good food that we're putting in us, and without the positive uh, herbs and supplements, stuff like that, natural medicine things, yeah, right. If we give our bodies over to pharma, they're going to be eternal products to pharma, and that's all tied into this.